Hi guys, I made 2 videos about Retopo with Blender recently, and I got some requests to do one for the add-on Retopoflow as well, so here it is. I extended this grumpy guy and added a neck, which is very well suited for the contours feature of the Retopoflow add-on. But let's open the user preferences first, the add-on section, and find the Retopoflow add-on that I installed. And as you can see, I used the latest version 1.3.2. which has a new check for updates feature, and I'm really looking forward to version 2. You can find the add-on here on GitHub, just download the master zip and install it with install add-on from file in Blender. But you can also buy it here from the Blendermarket and support the development, and you are also entitled to support as well. I added both links to GitHub and the Blendermarket to the description below. Okay, so let's get started with it. I switched to object mode and to the Retopology tab that is added by Retopoflow in the tool shelf. And the first thing I do is to set the source object, which is the high poly object that you're going to retopo. If you don't have a retopo object already, it will be generated when you leave the target object slot empty. For the neck, as I said, I will use the contours feature, so I press the button contours. The retopo mesh is generated. And now we are able to draw strokes onto the surface, which should be perpendicular to the form. What does it mean? Translated, they are about 90 degrees to a given line, plane or surface. So I snap the view and draw in the lines like that. And as you can see here, there is something like a mesh, connected edges, vertices, faces generated in a blue color, which indicates that we are in Retopoflow mode. And to actually create a mesh, we would need to press the Enter key. When you click here on the Help button, you can see all the features and keystrokes of contours. For example, you can select edge loops with the right mouse button and then slide the edges with the G key. Or you can also rotate them with the R key. So let's see how this works. I selected an edge loop here with the right mouse button and then this gizmo appears. And when I press G now, I can slide the edge, and when I press R, I'm able to rotate the edge loop. Okay, and then I press Enter to create the mesh. And once it is created, you can see we are in X-ray mode. You can define if this should happen automatically in the settings of the Contours add-on. But what I want to show you now, I missed this in the previous tutorial, is the hidden wire feature. You first have to switch to edit mode, and then under shading you will find the option hidden wire. Now just the wireframe of the retopo mesh is displayed so that the faces don't hide the high poly mesh anymore, but you can still see the retopo mesh, very useful. Okay, another feature of Retopoflow is poly strips that can be used to draw polygon strips onto the model, and these strips behave a bit like Bezier curves. The first and the last face is a kind of anchor that can be selected with the right mouse button, and you have the option to press S to scale it, G to move it, and R to rotate it. You can also go ahead and draw in new polystrips with left mouse button pressed, and you can connect 2 anchors just by drawing these lines. As I said, you can select the anchor faces, but you can select these handles as well and press G to adjust the polystrip. When right-clicking on the polystrip, you select the whole strip, and there's a nice feature in this mode. When you select one strip, a small or rather tiny number appears. This is very hard to see here in the video, but it defines the number of faces for this selected polystrip. The first one has 6 and the one below has 5, and now I can select the first one, hold the Shift key down and move the mouse wheel to either increase or decrease the number of faces for this polystrip. And as soon as you have an equal number for these 2 polystrips, you can select both and press Shift and F to fill the gaps. Great. And when you press return, again the mesh is generated, here also with X mirror, that can be enabled in the settings of the polystrips feature. Alright, the last feature that I want to show is polypen for vertex by vertex creation for your retopo mesh. You can insert and remove vertices and faces, or move around and tweak existing ones. You can also fill faces, bridge edge loops, or merge vertices. What I really like is the way to create quads with it. You just select an edge with right click, then hold Ctrl and click one time to create a triangle and the second time to turn the triangle into a quad. And also for this one, when you press return, the mesh is created, and when you press polypen again, the existing mesh is turned into the polypen mode, and you can continue your retopology work. Here you can see how I bridge two edges. I select the first one with right click and then hold Ctrl and click the second one. And now let's have a look at merging for vertices. That can be done in a very comfortable way. Just move one vertex over another one and then they are merged automatically. Okay, that's it for Retopoflow. And by the way, Retopology can also be used to create nice hard surface parts for your models. For example, for this mesh I add a solidify modifier, enabled even thickness and increase it in a negative direction. Then I apply the active modifiers in object mode, switch to edit mode, select the outer edges and press Ctrl and B and move the mouse to add a bevel. Then I add a subsurface modifier and enable smooth shading, and the result is a kind of hard surface mask that you can adjust, for instance with the grab brush in sculpt mode. Okay guys, I really hope that this video will be useful for you, and if you like it, don't forget to subscribe to my channel to not miss the next tutorial. Thanks for watching and thanks for your support if you already support me on my Patreon, and come back soon to JNM.